how does this typically, how is this working out? What's the cash flow? Are you hitting the 1% rule? What are some of those expectations somebody should have?
Right. So I don't know anyone that's selling quality renovated properties at the 1% rule for the most part. I'm sure you can stumble on something from an owner occupant perhaps. But on the turnkey scale, particularly if you're going to have a quality renovation, but we are luckily at a solid about 0.82 price to rent ratio is what you'll see a running theme on there. And for new roof, new HVAC, 1 year total warranty, lifetime occupancy guarantee, cash flow varies. Obviously, so our price range is about 100,000 to 200,000, with probably 80% of our inventory, 70% of our inventory being between 130 and 160. So again, you'll kind of see a lot of themes with our inventory. And so, on the very lowest end, a house that sells for $100,000 is going to have a rent of about $950. And another important thing is our taxes and insurance are low too. But I noticed it when we expanded to Little Rock because we have to pay a little bit more for the same house in Little Rock when we buy it, but their property taxes are lower. And so you can have a better cash flow from a slightly worse price to rent ratio depending on other factors. That $950 rent for that $100,000 purchase price, that cash flow might be $225 all done, but you wrote a check for $25,000 to get it. And so the dollar to dollar relationship between that deposit and that cash flow is high. So we call it $225 on the low end for a super affordable house that you shelled out the price of a used car. And then if you pushed on up our tip top rent of maybe $1,900, maybe $2,200 if it's a duplex. For a duplex, you might see $220 in that price range. And so that cash flow could be as high as $600. But again, the dollar to dollar relationship between that down payment and that price is going to correlate. So you'll be spending a lot less on the lower cash flows.
Is the duplex?
We're real picky about what we buy. That's not a very common construction style in Memphis itself, period, just for what was built. We thought we were going to build some duplexes, but Little Rock basically said no. We want you to build single family homes. And so for example, there's some bad neighborhoods in Memphis that have just the duplexes line the block. We're not touching that stuff with a 10-foot pole. So kind of by definition, our ideal duplex is the only multi-unit in the block, and it's surrounded by single family homes. But we absolutely get them. I'd say out of the 680 we did this year, probably 30 of them were duplexes. So that means more than once a month I've got them put out, and you can sort by price on my website. They're going to come to the top for anybody that's kind of interested in the multi-unit deal.